Good afternoon, everybody. We finally made it. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Let me just adjust this ever so slightly. There we go. Okay, right. I am so glad everybody could make it. Let me just turn this down. I've got my iPad here monitoring myself to make sure the stream actually starts this time. But it's great to see everybody again. It's been over a week since we last did this, I think. I can't remember off the top of my head. But anyway, we're doing another live stream. It is Saturday. It is the afternoon, so everyone should be pretty much chilled out completely. Today's session, or live stream, is going to be focused on making trees. It's a comment I've had quite a few times. People are always interested in how to make unusual things. And I think trees is one of those things that Lego never really seems to get right, or seems to struggle with, really. I mean, the traditional Lego tree are those little sort of pointy things, or the round things, and there's not really anything else in between. We want to make something better than that. Now, a lot of off-brands are doing this, so there's no reason why Lego can't. They just don't seem to want to. So today's session, we're going to focus on just simple techniques for you to make your own trees. I'm going to share with you some of the things that I've done, some of the thought processes I've gone through, just to get you started, really, so you can start making your own, really. Obviously, this one here that we've got in front of us, you can just about see that there. That is one of mine. That's my own creation, my own MOC. It took a while to figure out some of this, and this one here still isn't 100% right. I want to make some modifications on it, but I've learned a lot from this, and I still think it looks good. I'm not going to get rid of it. It's going to stay in the city. That's not going to change. That's just the way it is. But what I wanted to do is just share with you some of the changes that I want to do, and some of my thought processes, really. Like I say, so you can make your own. Now, what we're going to do is focus on this one here today. Let me just turn it around so you can see it. Bring that into shot. So this is kind of, well, it's pretty much this, but it's a revised, smaller version of it, just to try and show you guys the techniques that go into it. It is going to be pretty simple. You will need some specific parts for it to make it work. However, it's not complicated. It's pretty straightforward. It's pretty simple. And these techniques you can then apply to other things as well. So once we've got the techniques down and how it generally fits together, the world's your oyster. You can then go away and make a bigger version of it by putting more bits onto it. You can make smaller versions if you want to, like these little guys here, like these little bonsai type trees that I've been working on. Let me just bring this up so you can see it. So little things like that. All right. So, and once you've got the technique down, again, these, just as a word of warning, if you do make these bonsai things here, they do tend to fall over really easily, so they'll probably tip over at some point. But again, once you've got the technique down, you can apply it to different types of leaves. It doesn't have to just stay with the usual Lego brick leaf pieces like these. You can bring it over to the palm tree parts as well. It's the same sort of thing, same type of thing. But generally, it's the same. It's the same kind of technique for all of these things. So I'll just show you some of those. This one here is actually very fragile, and it will tip over at some point. Stay there. Good. Stay. Okay, so let's start. Let's make some really simple leaves for trees, and trees that have leaves and that sort of thing. And if we have time, we'll put some cherry blossom on it and make it look really nice. And then let's just start making something. So like I say, you are going to need a few parts to make trees. That kind of goes without saying, really. And some of the things you are going to need are these leaf pieces. Now, they do come in different sizes. You've got the big ones there. You have the little ones here. And they all come in different colours. Lego started to do different colours. However, they do seem to be pretty difficult to get a hold of, the different colours. So I've said it before, there are other people making these parts. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not out of patent, or no one's infringing anyone's copyright by doing that. So have a look around, because you can find lots of those in lots of different places. Right. So a tree always starts with a trunk. Now trunks come in many varying sizes. You've got the old palm tree ones. You remember these from back in the day with like Lego Pirates and things like that? That's one of those. If you can get some of those, they're really good for lots of different things. But generally, for today's sort of tree, this here, we don't need too many bits. We're going to have some of these sort of little 2x2 rounds here. They're going to form like the base for it to actually fit into. We'll probably have a couple of those stacked up, because I don't know whether you've ever noticed it, but these 2x2 rounds that we have here, they actually have a hole for a Technic piece in the top. Now once you start using that, the world sort of opens up for other things that you can start adding into it. Okay, so that we could go away and get a nice little Technic piece here with like the little cross socket connector on the end there. That can fit very nicely into that. Okay, and that can start forming the basis, like I say, for other things. That hole also fits lots of different things as well. So for example, if I get this part here, this is just a bendy tree part. It usually comes with like Ninjago and sets like that. Lego Friends, I think, has a lot of these parts as well. But again, that can fit very nicely into this, albeit you're going to have to adapt it ever so slightly by putting another piece in the end of that. Now, in the end there is a little hole. And there is with a lot of pieces like this. You'll get a little hole in the end there where you kind of think, well, nothing really fits in it. What's going to go into that? Well, that's where you need to get hold of some sticks. Lego sticks. They come in varying shapes, sizes. You've got the knights have the spears, same sort of thing. We have these little guys here. I generally see these as things you attach flags to and things like that. Okay, so those sorts of things, that's what we're after, because they fit really well with some of these as well. So what we can do is literally take one of these little sticks here, take our bendy tree part, and then just stick it in the end there, and that gives a nice tight fit to that, and that sits really well. Okay, so then what we can do is take that, and then that is an absolute perfect fit to go into these. So we can just push that in, and obviously the further in it goes, the more stability that you're going to have, basically. So you can have, and you can make the trunk a bit taller as well. So you could probably stack 2 or 3 of these up if you wanted to. So I've got just a very simple textured piece on the bottom there. Okay, and that is strong, it's sturdy, it's not going to go anywhere. However, I will say, if you are making trees, you're going to need a good, strong, firm base for these, because trees tend to be very top heavy and they like to fall over. That's just what trees like to do. They just like to fall over. Excuse me. So that's what you've got to watch out for. You've got to watch out for things falling over. Now, again, I will say this, trees tend to be pretty delicate as well. Okay, bits will fall off. Just when you start moving them around, they do tend to fall apart. So I'm going to try and make these as sturdy as possible. That's what I'm going to try and get across in this tutorial here, and it's making things strong. We don't want to be able to pick something up and have bits fall off of it. If you go over to Brick Me Up Scotty, his channel, he always does the drop test on his kits just to see how good the clutch is on things. And you know, these are pretty strong. Nothing's really going to fall off of that. But having said that, things always fall off of trees. But anyway, let's build this trunk. I want to show you what I've already done here. So if we just take this off, what we're aiming for is this. Can you see in there? This kind of branch structure. We're going to build that up just really simply using pretty basic parts. You can see around here we've got the Lego sticks. There's a spear there. I think there's another spear type of brick there. And then we have these just very normal straight sticks. And that carries on up inside there. So once we've got the trunk kind of built, I'm going to use the trunk that I've already got on this just to show you how that one works. All right, so this one here is, again, just the bendy tree trunk parts that you get with lots of Ninjago sets and lots of different things you get these. But what I've done is we've actually got 2 here. So as we were showing here, there's the first one. Okay, you can see that goes up and around, but you can actually connect two together because they have this little tiny connector on the end here. Again, that's a Technic connector on the end there. So if you've got some Technic pieces, you can actually start joining things together. So what we'll probably need, if I bring these parts out here, you'll be able to see them a little bit better, hopefully. What we're going to start to do is use these little round sort of Technic pieces here. Again, a load of those came with Ninjago City because it's the Ninjago, like, it's got docks at the back, and this was kind of the wooden boarding that went over there, and I actually got loads of those. So what we can do is we can use those to connect that onto that, and then we can get another one. This one's on pretty tight. Let's just pull it apart. Come on. There we go. All right. So then what we can do is we can actually put those together, and we can make interesting tree shapes. We don't have to have just one. We can twist it around so it's facing the other way like that, and we get a nice little, really simple trunk shape. Okay, and again, let's just bring it back to our base here. We can put that straight on there, push it down so it's in nice and firm. And like I say, if you want to, you can have a taller end piece there just by making the stick a bit taller and threading it through more of those 2x2 rounds. Okay, so that's nice and simple. I'm just going to get the parts out of the way so they're not interfering with what we're actually doing. So we get a nice round. And now what you've got to watch out for here is, because it's a bendy trunk, it likes to twist. So what you'll find now and again is it wants to twist over, and you've got to make sure that connection in there is actually really strong and really firm. Okay, if you struggle with things bending and twisting and falling over, what you can do is in this end connector piece here is put something in it just to try and keep it open so it gets a bit more grab onto the other piece. Now what I've found is if you use these are those flexible pipes that Lego likes to use for lots of different things. They come in lots of different things. But if you can also just standard wire as well, if you can get hold of any wire. But these fit absolutely perfect. And like I said, these are the bendy kind of pipey type. I don't know what the official term is for these, so I'm just going to call them the bendy pipe things. But they fit absolutely perfectly into the end of that. And if you really wedge that down in there, and then, this is probably going to upset some Lego purists, you can cut that off. Just cut it off, keep it in there. Now, just get a nice pair of wire cutters, cut that off, and that keeps that that socket open, so it has a lot more clutch for when you put it into the next piece, and it's less prone to just spinning around on itself. And that's good for anything like that where you've got that kind of Technic connector push pin type of thing happening. Now I've already got one in here to try and keep that, and that just makes that really stiff and sturdy, and it's good. It holds really well. So that's basically the trunk. And what you can also do is just add on lots of random curved arched pieces, a couple of cheese wedges on there, and it just gives this simulation. It looks like roots. The whole idea of trunk and roots is to make it look a bit random, so you can go mad on that. It can also help support it as well. So if you put them in the right places, it can help with the weight distribution and stop it tipping over. Okay, so we can do a lot based around that. But essentially, we've got a nice big base here. I'll probably take it off and put it on something else when it goes into the city. But essentially, at the moment, that's what we're going to use. And that's kind of our trunk starting point. You can use lots of other pieces as well for trunks. It all depends how thick and chunky you want it to be. You know, we've got lots of these pieces as well. I can't even remember where this came from. It's probably off a dragon or something. But they're pretty good as well, just to give that nice arch shape if you wanted a bit more interest in it. And Lego do lots of different variations of this. Okay, so you can use lots of those as well. All right, so they're really simple, really easy trunk pieces. Like I say, also the 2x2 rounds there, they're good, stacked up. Again, just to add a bit of variety and make it look super interesting. All right, so they're good. The next bit, or the next problem, are the leaves. How do we get the leaves to sit like a tree? Well, obviously, a tree has branches, so our branches are going to be formed with what we're technically going to call the Lego sticks. Okay, like I say, these are either flag bits, they're either spears, anything, or even the broom handles. Some of the Lego brushes, some of the Lego brooms actually have the handles. You could use those as well if you're struggling for pieces. That's fine. But now we're going to make those into branches, and obviously branches connect into the central trunk. So we've got to make that happen. We've got to find a way to connect them in to this. How are they going to connect into that? So obviously we need something there. Now this again has that hole in the top for a Lego stick, so we can put in what is technically called a Lego stick. I'm just going to refer back to my original one here just to see how long I need that to be, because we don't want it to be too short. I think we can get away with probably one of these, maybe a shorter one. Let's just see what we have in the tray here. Let's see if we've got any shorter ones in here. We kind of want something that's reasonably long, but not too long. Let's see what's in here. There's quite a good one. If I can get hold of it. Maybe something like that'll do. But you'll see why we need that anyway in a second. But the longer the stick in the middle there, the more branches you can actually start stacking up. But we've got to bear in mind, let's keep it in proportion. Let's not go too mad with it. So my first set of branches are actually going to connect to this. Again, I don't know the technical name for this, but it's kind of a sort of cross with a hole in the middle. Again, that's a Technic rod axle hole in the middle there. So that could work. But we'll also use a couple of techniques because not everyone's got this. You might not have any of these pieces. So we'll use some of those. And we'll also use these as well. Again, more Technic pieces. Let's bring that up close so you can see it. Again, just a hole in the middle there with two connectors on each side. We can use those as well. Same sort of techniques. So we'll use those, but then we'll need things to actually connect it. So we're going to work through and we'll pick bits out. We're also going to need loads of these. Again, those little round Technic sort of covers that things slot into. Again, I really should look up some of the terminology for these things. But yeah, we're going to use a lot of those as well. So let's start building. And the idea of a tree is it kind of tapers in at the top. So whenever you build a Lego tree, bear that in mind. A tree goes generally is a pointy shape or a dome type of shape, so it's wider at the base than it is at the top, and we've got to try and create that effect. That's what gives it the realism. So let's start with this. Let's start with that little sort of cross thing there, and what we need to do is we need to get these sticks to connect to it in some way. So we need something that's going to actually help there, and that's where these Technic pins come in. You can use whatever colour you want. You've got these come in, I believe, blue, black, grey, red. It doesn't matter what colour they are. Ideally, in an ideal world, we'd use this kind of off-white beige colour. But again, we don't always have that. So it doesn't matter what colour it is. I've got loads of blue ones, so for today I'll use some blue ones just to show you what's going to happen. But again, they fit really nicely into those Lego stick things. They have a really good grip on them, and that can sit on there like that. And then we can get one of the longer sticks and put it in the end. And it has a good grip on it. Look at that. That ain't going anywhere. So that's going to form the basis of our branch. And we can have 4 on here. Now, because it is blue, and even if it was this off-white beige type of colour, it would still look horrible. So we need to cover this up, all right? We need to hide that. And the way we're going to hide it is, take it apart first of all, because really we should have done this first. We're going to use those sort of round covers that go over pins. We're going to put a 2x1 on one end, and they also come in singles as well. So we do have a sort of half versions of those, if I can dig around and find one in here. We might not have enough. I might not have sorted out enough for this build, so we'll see. And that can go on that end, so that is really nicely covered up now. You can't actually see there's a blue pin in there anymore, and that's really going to help. Plus, putting those over the top gives it that extra strength and gives it that extra clutch power as well. So let's put that onto there, and you can feel it when you push that on. It's really strong. And again, we'll get a Lego stick, shove it in one end, nice, clean, tidy. There we go. And we just need to repeat that process on the other 3. So let's get some of the other pins out. Let's see if we've got enough pieces to actually make this work. We need one of those. And like I say, once you've got these really basic techniques down, you can start experimenting with lots of other things. So let's just put one of those half round things on the end of that. That can go on there like that. And then we'll do the same on the other pieces. Here we go. Let's grab that. Put that in there. That goes in there. And what I'll do is just when I put the last one in, I'll just show it to you so you can see exactly what we've got. This can go in there like that. And then we've got that. Move you out of the way. We've got that. So that is going to form the basis of the first layer of branches. We're probably going to have 3 or 4 layers of branches on here, but we just need to put the sticks in the end here just to put those together. So again, let's put on the covers for those so we can disguise the blue. And the same for this part here. We'll disguise the blue bits, push that on, and then we'll do the same on the last one there. Push it in. Perfect. Good. Now we can put the Lego sticks in the end. We'll put a stick in that end. I don't know, to add a bit of variety, we'll put a spear on that bit. So we've got a Lego spear on there. Brilliant. All right. Okay. And what else could we have in here? Let's see if we've got another Lego spear, because I like things to be kept even if I can. Let's see if we've got a Lego spear. Yes, we've got a last one there. I'll put that on there. Perfect. Good. So that's what we now have. We've got... Beautiful. Cool. All right. So that's coming together nicely. Now, what I would say, if anyone's got any questions, just drop them in the chat box. You know, if you're watching this after the live stream, obviously you won't be able to put it in the chat box. Put it in the comment section underneath instead. Because I am always interested in what you guys think, how you tackle things really, and things, because I know what I like to watch on YouTube in terms of tutorials on Lego or building things, or what I like people to show me, but that doesn't mean that everybody likes that. So I'm always interested to see what everybody else is interested in. And it's probably going to be different to what I'm interested in. All right, so what we're going to do is we need to connect that to the top of this now. Now again, let me just refer back to my original. Hey, how are we doing? We made it. Brilliant. I'm just going to stack this. I'm just trying to find this same length of stick that I used on my... okay, it was that. Fine. Because I want it to be very similar to the last build I did, because I'm just trying to keep things similar. Not the same, but similar. So let's put that on there. That goes in the top. So I'm just referring back to my old one, just to see what I did on that. Okay, I see what I did. Yeah, brilliant. I'm trying to keep it the same as the original, just so people can see I'm not cheating. All right, so let's put the Lego stick in the top. Like this, and we're going to drop that down. Like I say, you can put it whichever way you want. It really doesn't matter. You can put it that way around. Doesn't matter, because it goes all the way through anyway. And then that will go in the top of the trunk for the tree. So you can see that's the first layer of branches. That's a good starting point. But we want a couple of layers of branches to actually build up on. Now you could, again, use that exact same part again. You could just put another one of those in there and have 4 more branches. But it doesn't really add interest. So what I'm going to do instead is add these Technic pieces. Let's move the tree out of the way. There we go. Those bits there, just to add interest into it. And because, like I say, not everyone's got that exact same bit lying around. You might not have it at all. So I'm going to drop these on instead. Now again, if you wanted to, if you want to put some spacing in there, maybe you think that's too close to the original, you want to space it out a bit, come back to these Lego Technic round things. Again, I should really look at what these are called. That can go on there, and that can just add a bit of spacing, a bit of a gap perhaps, and that can drop onto there. And then we can have another one like that. And then we can have branches coming out of those. All right, so we can really build it up and we can make it look kind of interesting. Let me just refer back to what I did before so I can get it in the right order. Like that, yeah. Alternatively, what you could do with some of these is, again, you don't have to have the Lego stick thing going all the way through the middle there. You could use other things as well. So not everyone, again, has got lots of Lego sticks lying around. We will need some for the branches. That goes without saying. But you could start to use basic Technic pins. So you could put one of those in there. Let's get it the right way around, because that's what this is designed to hold. It will hold a Technic pin. That's what it will do. So you could use those. There are a few different variations of those. I'm just trying to find mine. I don't think I've got them out for this tutorial, but we'll grab some in a minute. But then we can start working through and adding those in. Actually, let's put a shorter stick in this time. Like that. Actually, not that short. Getting the right Lego stick in there is always interesting. All right, so we can drop that back on there. Come on, back on. There we go. And again, let's put that kind of spacer on there that we wanted from before. But again, come back to these Lego Technic pins. They're really useful for this sort of stuff because they fit into the Lego sticks really, really well. And again, that holds nicely. It's really firm. This is what we want with this build. We're making a tree. We don't want it to fall apart after 5 minutes. It's got to stay there. That sticks too long. Let's get a shorter one. There we go. Good, so that can go on. That's better. Perfect. But again, if you wanted to, you could stack it up with these Lego round Technic pieces. Again, I should really look at it. If anybody knows what they're called, let me know. Yes, there we go. So that can drop on there like that. Brilliant. They will spin around, okay? There's no way around that. Spinning branches is fine. It will all start to stiffen up and come together when you add on the leaves, because you can connect those together to stop it spinning around. And again, we'll come back, we'll put those little bits back on again, those other Lego Technic, I keep saying Lego Technic connectors, but those, just Technic connectors will be fine. So they can drop on, because they fit nicely over those pins, they're going to wedge themselves in there nicely, as opposed to just using a stick where they will just spin really freely on those, and that's probably not what we want. So again, they've got some connectors for extra branches, so we can add in the extra branches. Again, use the sticks. Like I say, they come in different varying lengths, and on my original, I believe I used 3 different types of them. Yeah, we did. So we're going to put another stick, spear handle, whatever you want to call it, flag pole into the bottom 2 there. And there's our second layer of branches. Great. We can move that around as well so that they kind of offset themselves. But then we want to come up another level. We want to put something in at the top there. Now, remember what I said. Trees come to a point or a dome type of shape. So we don't want any even longer ones up here. They've got to be shorter. And that's the good thing about these Lego stick pieces. They come in lots of different sizes. So you can really quickly and easily make a tree structure using those. And like I say, that's pretty solid. That's not going anywhere. It will stiffen up when we get the leaves and all of the other pieces on there. All right, let's put those away. We're kind of done with those. The last thing we need to do is think about the top. What's going to happen at the top there? Because I can't, all we've got is a pin in there. How are we going to get that connected to any leaves? Because leaves aren't going to stick to that. So we got to think about that as well. We've got to think about how that's going to actually work. All right. Okay, good. Let's think about that. We've got several choices. I'm going to use the top from the old school palm trees. Now, they all used to come with this kind of it's almost like a lampstand, I suppose, but it's got 4 legs on it, and it has a pin that sticks out at the end there, which will go into the top. Obviously, if you haven't got one of those, not everybody has, you might be limited on pieces, go back to the Lego sticks again. Go back to those little brown sticks, just get a little one, and just wedge it in the top there, because you can then connect a load of stuff off of that. Now, because I have got one of these, I'm going to use that. I'm going to drop it in. And again, it's the same sort of scale as the usual Lego sticks, so it's going to wedge in there really, really nicely. Okay, good. So we've got kind of a tree structure happening there. The next thing we need to do is get some leaves on it. Obviously, we need leaves on trees. So we can use lots of different... Oh, in a brick, you've got to go. All right, never mind. Watch it later. I'll be posting this later on, so if you want to watch it back, watch it back. But we'll see you next time. Glad you're here anyway. All right, let's add some leaves onto this. And before we do that, I just need a bit of water myself. All right, so leaves, like I say, they come in lots of different sizes and shapes and colours. The 2 general ones, let's bring those up here so you can see them. We've got the main big leaves, which we'll use for the bulk of this. But then it's always nice to have a bit of contrast on that as well. So if you've got some of the smaller ones or different colours, mix them in because it adds depth and it makes things look interesting. You can see this tree here has probably got 3 different variations of colour in there. I did go a bit mad with that one, and it is extremely top heavy, which is why it's a bit delicate sometimes. But anyway, we need to get the leaves onto the branches. Obviously, they've got to sit on here somehow. So we need some sort of connector to go on there. And this is where it gets super simple, because all you need are the little clasp or hook pieces like these. Simple 1x1 clasps or hooks, whatever you want to call these. They also have other ones as well which have a single 1x1 sticking out of them. You can use those as well if they're facing the right way. But generally these work pretty well for most things. And these really grip. They really have a good grip on these Lego stick pieces. The clasp is brilliant. But what we can do is we can put a leaf piece directly on top of that, like that, and that can connect directly onto my branches. So I can go click, like that, and it sits. And I can just carry on adding as many as I want. So I can click and add another one next to it, like that. So you can see that starts to build up leaves on trees really quickly. You can have as many as you want. All right, I'm probably going to put 2 on each branch because we will build it up more afterwards. And again, it doesn't really matter what colour these clasps or hook pieces are, because you're going to hide them with leaves anyway. Obviously, don't go for bright red unless you're doing an apple tree or something. You know, if you're doing an apple tree, great. The red clasps would look quite good. I've got these kind of beige ones. I've got lots of these sandy green colours on here as well. I forget what that official term for that one is. So I'm going to try and keep them all looking the same, just to try and keep it kind of uniform. But we just basically clip a leaf piece onto it, clip it onto a Lego stick like this, and because they can bend and twist, you can get them pointing down. They don't just have to sit flat, because that looks really weird when that happens. You can actually get them pointing down. Let's just twist that around. There we go, like that, and they twist down. It just gives it that leaf branch sort of look and feel. So you can see really quickly how that can build up. Now, like I say, we are going to add on more bricks. Now, this is one of the problems with building trees this way. It eats bricks. It will eat these leaf pieces. So you'll get through loads of them. So if you can get a bulk order in, go for it. If you're lucky enough to go to pick a brick wall and see them, get as many as you can. All right, and like I say, you can get these in lots of different colours. So you could create kind of an autumnal effect if you were using some of the brown or orange ones or yellow ones even. I'm going to move those up because I might add on an extra layer on there like that. And it's just repeating this process all the way around. Add these pieces in. Now, later on when we start really filling this tree out, a lot of these pieces can actually start connecting together. We can get them to overlap. And we're just trying to generate this dense sort of foliage kind of look to the tree. Trees are very random, but they also have a very strong pattern to them as well. The leaves are all random, they're put in random places, but if you look really closely, they do have a structure, so things will be opposite each other. And try and keep it even. All right, I'm glad I'm showing you something new. You've not used that method before. Brilliant. Even if we learn one thing today, it's that. Okay, brilliant, good. Again, as we go through this, if you miss anything or I'm too quick, just say, look, I didn't see that. Can you show me again? Because I'm more than happy to go through this as many times as possible, because I'm playing with Lego and talking to people. And that's kind of 2 of my favourite things right there. So again, let's go up to the next layer. We're on the next layer of branches now. Now, this is just the first pass of leaves. We are going to put on more. All right, we're just going to get the basic structure in here just to get a bit of rigidity into it, so it kind of holds itself together. And because these branches we can bend them down because they are just hooked on, we can get that nice feel. And when you bend them down, they kind of rest against the previous layer and help to hold it into place, so it stops it spinning around quite as much. Okay, right, where can we go next? Now the problem you're going to get is you're going to lose track of where you've actually put things and where you need to put things. But that's fine. As long as we fill all the gaps, it doesn't matter. Once we've got this basic structure in, we can do whatever we want. We can just throw things at it now. So let's spin it around. Let's put one on here. So that's the second layer of branches was just 2. We didn't have any more than 2 on there. Good, there we go. And like I said, just make sure it's not tipping up. This is where it starts to get top heavy, and if you've not got a good base on it, it wants to tip over. It's constantly wanting to do this. So always make sure you've got a good base on these things. That's where I made my mistake for the first few trees I made. I'm concentrating on making them look so good and adding all these leaves on it. I didn't really think about how that's actually going to hold up in the real world, and that was a real pain to get that to work. So let's put that on there. And again, you can see it will want to spin round just to the nature of the pieces that we're using in here. Just keep pushing it back down though. Hopefully it's not going to embarrass us all and fall flat on its face. It should be fine. Good. Like I said, I've never really had any problems with these. Once you've got a lot of leaves on it, it helps hold it into place. Everything helps everything else stay in place. So we're just going to carry on going around, dropping these things in like that. And we're getting quite a nice, dense looking tree on here. We're building it up really nicely. This one does have a skinny trunk on it, but that's fine. That's the look I'm going for. I don't want this huge trunk around the bottom here because it makes everything look busy and you can't put anything else underneath it or around it. So having that skinny trunk actually helps lift it up and keeps the Lego city looking quite open. Right, I'm just looking for a gap now. There's a gap. And then we'll do the top layer, and then we can have some fun just filling in the gaps, really. Because when we start filling in the gaps, we can just go nuts with it. We can do whatever we want. Good, all right. So we've got this last top piece to deal with now, this kind of thing here. Now, this is where we have to change our tactics a little bit. And I didn't get the pieces out for this. I need to grab them. Because if we use these same hook pieces, these things here, if we use these again, not that, that's something else, they're going to sit the wrong way because these are now vertical, whereas the branches were horizontal. So we need to revert to those other hooks and clasp pieces. So I forgot to get those out. So let me just grab those now. Let's go to the, what I like to call my pick-a-brick wall. Let's grab those. They are down here. There we go. So that's what let me just show you these. This is what we're after. These sorts of ones. Lovely. And you can't really see that because it's kind of a random mess in there. Let's just pull out a few of the brown ones. They're in here. Come on. There they are. There's some more in here as well. You can never find them. The way it always is. The pieces you actually want are always at the bottom of the pile. But then we want these. Can you see how these are the 1 by 1 pieces with a little hook or clasp on the end there? Because they're facing the other way, that's what I need. Now, how many do we have? We've got 4 there. 4 should actually do us. Let's just put those out of the way so I don't knock them on the floor and have to pick them all up. Let's bring the tree back. Here we go. So what they're going to do is they're going to clip onto the top there, just like that. And then we can connect those leaf pieces onto that. Now, as I'm building this up, the actual leaf pieces are upside down, and I kind of want to keep it like that. So when I do it, I'm going to clip these on upside down. Lovely. Okay, so that's on there. If you wanted to, you could then revert back to smaller pieces. Let me just try and get that to focus in a bit better. There we go, that's a little bit better. If you wanted to, you could revert to the smaller leaf pieces if you want to, so you don't have to stick to the big ones. As we get close to the top, we did say it's got to create a dome or a rounded effect. So if that's the case, maybe we do revert to the smaller pieces instead. Well, let's do that. Like I say, we can always add more on if we think we need it. So we're just going to put that there like that. Good. And again, we'll just keep going. We'll keep adding these on. And then we can start filling in some of the gaps that are on here. So let's just click and add that one in there. Beautiful. Okay, I've actually added that one on upside down. Come on, back the right way. I'm going to swap you out for a different one because I didn't like the clutch on that. It wasn't quite strong enough. This is the thing with a lot of Lego pieces. Some pieces have stronger clutches than others, and you'll notice that certain colours have a stronger clutch than other colours. It's just the nature of the part and the process of making it. Right, let's put that on there. And then we've got to finish off, we've got to put something on the top there. So we've got to put one last thing right at the top. But there we go. We're building that up nicely. Really, really simple, and it's really strong as well. So the base will come off, but the tree won't. That's not going anywhere. All right, let's put you back on your base. And that's what we want. If we're putting something in Lego City and it's going to stay there permanently, we don't want it falling apart every 5 minutes. We don't want to have to go in. We don't want to have to craggle it. So trying to make it as strong as possible is key to this, and this is why I kind of use this method over anything else. Right, let's put something on the top there. I'm going to go back to my sticks. My little Lego sticks here. I'm going to put a little stick in the top, right in the top there, because we've got space for one and it will fit. Now, if you can't fit a stick in there, or you're using a different piece, find something else, like the 1x1 round pieces, just something simple like that placed on top will work. And then you can connect leaves to that. So that top one there, I'm just going to get a big old leaf piece and throw it on the top. I'm going to wedge that on. It is quite a tight fit when you do that, but that finishes it off quite nicely. You can see we need some more leaves on those lower branches down the bottom here. There's some, the branches are actually sticking out, so we need to cover those up. So maybe we'll just add on a few more. Let's go back. Maybe what we'll do, yeah, we'll just click and add them on and literally have them sticking out like that. Perfect, brilliant. I like how this one's looking. It's looking better than the one I did earlier, actually. There we go. So that kind of disguises that really well. We'll do one on that branch there as well. We'll grab it. We'll add it in. Let's see how that one fits. This is where it can get a bit worrying because things start to move around. Now, if you want to, you don't have to cover up those branches. You can leave those sticking out if you want to. If you like the look of, seeing a bit of brown wood sticking out, then yeah, leave it. You don't have to fill it in. All right, so let's just do the last one here, and then we can start adding the details and just fleshing it out a little bit, because we've only really used one type of brick for most of this. We've used, well, two types. We've used hooks, and we've used the big old leaf pieces on here. All right, so we're getting there. It's starting to look like a tree. So let's start filling in and making it a bit more dense. And again, to do this, we've got a couple of choices. We either use the smaller branches, just of the same colour, like that, just the smaller pieces, or we could flip over to a different colour, a different shade of green, to add in a bit more interest. Or we could do a combination of both. Let's move those pieces out of the way because we're done with those for the moment. And then what they're doing here is literally just finding places where you think it would look good. Just find somewhere interesting and just put it on. So I might put one at the end here. And this is where you can start to join some of these branches together, because there's a lot of flex in this. These pieces have lots of flex in them, especially the bigger pieces. They bend really well. Don't go too mad because you will snap it and you will get that white crease going through it. But you can put a bit of flex in here and start to join things together. So I could join these two together if I wanted to. And what will happen is when you start joining things together, you can start to create rounded effects. I want to show you one of those on one of my other trees. But we don't have to do that for every single piece. Like I say, trees are kind of random. But just see where things could join together. Now I've got a piece here, which could twist around, and I could connect it to that piece there. Like that. And it's just a case of going around, filling in the gaps, adding as many pieces as you want. Obviously, if you haven't got lots of pieces, then keep it quite minimalist looking. There we go. So we can add that on. And like I said, I'm not joining every single piece together. If I find something that's within reach that might look quite good, then yeah, I'll do it. But I'm not going out of my way to find where I can join things together. You can bend and twist, just keep adding things in. Remember, trees are random, but they still have a structured pattern to them. So you can see there how we're adding those in. Again, this is still pretty solid. And we can just keep going. This is the really quite fun part, but you have to concentrate as to where things are actually going to go. Let's put that under there. But if we're going to go down the cherry blossom route, a lot of this is going to be filled out with the flower pieces. So we don't have, if you're going to do that, you don't have to add as much foliage as this, because it might look too much, or you might just not have all those pieces. So it doesn't have to be as dense as I'm doing it. You could do it a lot more subtly. Okay, and again, watch out for things that stick out too far. This branch here, I don't know if you can see that. I think there's a bit of a gap there. I want to close up, so I'm going to put a piece under there like that, just to try and make it a bit rounder. And we're just going to go through. Let's add loads more pieces onto this. Let's really go to town with it now. Let's add all of these bricks on. I'm slowly working my way up through the branches to do this. And again, don't forget, because we've got those clasps on there, we can bend them down. So if you think they're just starting to creep up and starting to look a bit flat, just bend the entire thing down. Like that. I think we can get a green piece in that. Like that, and we'll drop it down. Good. Now this technique is super useful for lots of different types of trees. Once you've got the technique down, you can apply it to so many other things. Now, different types of leaves, different types of branch layouts. It really doesn't matter. So again, we might put something there like that. So these two, these ones at the top here, I might bring those down if it starts to look a bit flat. But I'm not, for the moment, they don't look too bad. I'll leave those alone. Because they do have a lot of flex in it, you can, like I say, join things together. But we don't want the top to be too dense, because it will look a bit odd. We still want that nice dome shape happening. Beautiful. All right, we're getting there. I think one last tree piece on there, and then we're pretty much there for that sort of thing. What'll happen is you'll do this, and then you'll come back and go, well, there's a gap there, and you want to put another piece into it, and you just can keep adding and adding and adding. All right, there we go. So that's looking not bad, actually. What do you guys think? Think it looks okay? There's a bit of a gap there, there, and there. I'm not too happy about. I might add something in here just to block it out a bit. But again, this is where you've got to know when to stop. Sometimes you don't, and then you end up with way too many pieces on here. Like I say, trees eat pieces. They kind of, you don't know where they all go. I've lost count of how many pieces I've put on here. Cool. All right, so we've got that. Now it's on to the next stage. If we're going to add flowers onto it, let's add some flowers, shall we? We want it to look a little bit like this one, because in my Lego City Brick Prefecture, it's always springtime. Every day is spring, so we have cherry blossom everywhere, and I really like how it looks. The city is supposed to be the first couple of weeks of spring, sun's out, everything's warming up, you can take your coat off, maybe just have a t-shirt on. That's the kind of feel I want for my city today. I'm more than happy to have lots of flowers on here. So let's add those on. Now, flowers don't have to be flower pieces. Flowers can be literally just one by one rounds. Okay, so if we go here, I'm going to grab a handful of these. These will probably go everywhere. But they can just be one by one rounds, any colour. For mine, I'm going to stick to pinks. I do have some actual flower pieces here as well, so I'm going to dot those in just to give it a nice look. So we've actually got some of those flower pieces. But what I'm going to do is mix it in. There's just some pink one by one rounds and mix it up. Now what for this, we just go through, wherever you see a space, put a piece on it. So I'm going to put one just there, like that. And now because we made it upside down, all the leaf pieces are actually upside down. The flower pieces will only go into certain slots on here. So again, we've just got to plan our route a little bit. Well, we can't always fit everything next to everything else. So the flower pieces, because I've only got a limited amount of these, and I need to pick a brick wall with them in so I can grab handfuls of the things. I'm going to space them out. So we're not going to sort of bunch those up. We'll probably put a few around the bottom here like this, and then we'll just add in a few of these. No pink frogs. No, I don't have any pink frogs. I've got green frogs, but no pink frogs. I know somebody pointed that out to me yesterday, I think it was, when I was talking about doing this. They go, "Oh, you need some pink frogs." And I'm thinking, why do I need pink frogs? Because I think, is it the Lego bonsai tree that got pink frogs on it? I don't know why. I don't really get it, but they look alright, I suppose. I suppose anything pink does the job. I prefer to be more traditional. And besides, if you're making this yourself and you're buying Lego pieces, frog pieces cost a lot more than 1x1 rounds. A hell of a lot more. So I'm just going to... Generally, when I'm building things like this, I don't go out and buy special pieces. I don't suddenly think, oh, I need to buy 300 of these, or I need to buy 50 of those. I just work with whatever I've got. And if I happen to have lots of something, great. If I don't, then I work around it. I'll go, right, we can't have as many of those, or we've got to change the design because I don't actually have this piece. I've only ever ordered from the Lego website a few times, and it's generally because something's on offer, or I've got... I think the major time I did it was when I was building road plates or getting the roads done. I thought I need lots of 2x2 grey tiles, so I bought loads of those. And like I say, there's lots of other brands out there as well that do pieces, and they do them at really good prices as well. So if you're on a budget and you don't mind doing things like that, I've got nothing against it. Jump onto somewhere like AliExpress. There's a few good sellers on there. If anybody wants recommendations, let me know. I've got a whole list here. And they do bulk orders, like literally you can buy 1,000 pieces and it works out at less than a penny per piece sometimes, depending on what you're ordering, and the quality is always pretty good as well, because let's not forget, Lego makes their stuff in China. That's where it's made. That's where the factories are. So they're probably using the same factories and selling on AliExpress as well. Yeah, and like I say, I've got brand loyalty to Lego. Great, but I'm also aware there's other things out there as well. So if Lego doesn't do it and somebody else is, I'll go to that other person. I'm not making a Lego city. I'm making a brick city, and I'm making it how I want to make it, because it's my thing. And like I said, I think I've had this conversation a few times with lots of different people on forums and in comment sections about things, and there is a hardcore element to Lego. There's a lot of people out there that go, well, if you're going to do Lego, you've got to buy Lego, and Lego is Lego, and you shouldn't be buying other brands. Well, yeah, that's true. I'm just reading your comment on here. Yeah, that's true. The Lego is a brand, but if I was doing model railways, I wouldn't just stick to like in the UK, Hornby's the biggest brand for that sort of thing, but there's lots of other brands that do exactly the same sort of thing. And there's no harm in using those other brands. That's what they're there for. As long as they're not ripping each other off. I know they had this whole thing with China and Chinese brick manufacturers ripping off everything that Lego did and selling it at cheaper prices. That's not on. That's not good. But what you got to remember is Lego doesn't hold the patent for the bricks. They have an unusual mold now and again. They might hold patent or copyright on it for a little while, but they don't hold copyright on Lego bricks. But that ran out a long time ago. So it opened the market up for other people to do their thing. And like I said, I'm all for that. Competition's good, but what I don't want to see is the Chinese companies ripping off Lego's IP, because that's not good. And I think the only reason they got into trouble with it was because of some box art on a on a Star Wars set. That's what got the Chinese brands into a lot of trouble, because obviously they weren't just ripping off the Lego sets, they were ripping off the Star Wars IP as well, so that wasn't good. But okay, but there you go, you can see all those little... Whoop, we're spinning around, come back. That's what happens when you try to tip it up. Like I say, Lego trees always want to fall over, which is why we've got to have a nice sturdy base and not tip it up too much. Get back on there. There we go. Like I say, they are top heavy, so always make sure you hold them nice and securely. There we go. So once we've covered that with the flowers, it's going to look more like this one. Obviously, this is a bigger tree. There's a lot more in this. So we've just got to go around filling that in. So let's carry on with that. Let me read the comments. Let's catch up with what's happening in the comment section. Big Nate, you don't like the frog pieces either. Yeah, it's a bit weird, that is, isn't it? You actually got some of the bonsai trees. Yeah, I'm waiting for those to come on sale. They seem to be holding their price pretty well at the moment. As soon as Amazon sales kick in, I'll probably grab a load of those. I need some more brown pieces, and there's a lot in those sets. So as soon as they come onto a reasonable price, I'll probably grab a few. But not at the moment. Good. I'm glad we agree on certain things. Yeah, there's a whole debate on the Chinese brand thing. You can fall out with a lot of Lego fans really quickly by even talking about it. But I think they're slowly coming round to the idea of, it opens the hobby up. You can be a lot more creative. Now, I've said this before in other videos, and because I do use some of the Chinese brands for certain bricks and things, I don't mind modifying those bricks because of where they've come from. I've got a load of orange tiles, 2x1 tiles, which I use for lots of things. I bought a bulk load of those from AliExpress because I just couldn't get them. I didn't want to pay the price that Lego was producing them at, so I went on there, got a load of those. Now, I didn't have any 1x1 orange tiles, but because the pieces have come from China, I didn't mind chopping one in half. I've got my plastic cutters over there, really good ones, for other sort of kits and things I work on. And you can get a nice clean cut straight through the middle. No one's any of the wiser, and the brick exists, but I can't get hold of it, so I didn't see anything wrong with doing that. I've said it before, I'm not going to go away and butcher lots of sets and make random pieces. I've dropped a bit, I'll get that later. But if I'm just happen to be short on something, or I need to make one stud smaller, I would think about cutting it to make it work. I'm not going to heavily modify pieces to make it work, because that kind of defeats the point of Lego, or the challenge of Lego, if you're just going to cut everything up. But if you just need to make a quick alteration, you don't have the piece, but it exists, you don't have enough. I haven't got a problem with chopping things like that, especially base plates. I've got a whole load of base plates, but some of the designs and things I'm working on, I don't need a whole base plate and to get it to fit in my small space over here in my Lego city, because it's kind of an ad hoc design. I might have a base plate, I need to chop 2 rows of studs off. Again, that's fine. Get a nice clean cut, slice through it. There's nothing wrong with that. I know it makes a lot of people cringe, and it's like, oh my god, you're chopping up Lego pieces. Yeah, but I'm chopping them up to make them work. And let's grab some more. I thought I'd sorted enough one by one round pink one there here. I've got a whole drawer of these which I need to sort through. We'll just do a few more, and then we're pretty much at the end of today's build. I think we'll do another one on smaller trees as well, like I don't know whether you can still see them in the corner there. They're over here, these ones, these little bonsai ones. Maybe we'll do those as a separate video just to show you how they work, because again, it's a very similar technique, but they look really cute when you put them in the city. Alrighty, we're pretty much there. Let's just add on a few more of these, and then we'll call it a day for this live stream. As always, guys, let me know what the sound quality is like. Is it good? Is it bad? Because I can't hear myself until I watch it back, and even then, YouTube could be lying to me. Let me know if the sound quality is good. Let me know if the video quality is good. Let me know if there's anything you would like to see. Would you like a build on something else? Would you like to know how I do other things in a city? Go back and look at the city updates to see what's in there. I need to do a new one soon. with some of the changes I've made. But tell me what you want to see. I'm totally bored of seeing people reviewing Lego sets. I'm so sick of seeing the Lego Titanic set doing the rounds. You know, if one person reviews it, great. Yeah, I'll watch Jang. I'll get his opinion on it, and I'll listen to him because I think he's quite a respected reviewer, and you know, his opinion matters. But then I don't want to see everybody doing that. It'd be nice to see some other Lego related content out there, and that's where you guys come in. You tell me what sort of thing you want to see. You know, somebody suggested this tree. Somebody wants to know how to make trees. Oh, I like your trees. How would you make a tree? And I thought, great, I'll do a live stream on how to make trees. There we go. This needs more flowers on it, but I'm not going to bore you by adding those on. So there we go. Let's just try and get that to focus in a little bit better. Are you doing it? Yeah, that's getting there. This camera I'm using over here has a fixed focus, and it doesn't always focus properly. So yeah, tell me what you want. If you're watching this after the fact and you're watching it through YouTube after the live broadcast, tell me in the comments sort of things you want to see. You know, because like I say, I know what I want to see from a Lego channel, and that's generally just showing me pretty pictures of your city building it. That's fine, I don't mind doing that, but I get bored of that very quickly. But I like to see everybody else's and the progression they're making. City updates, like the monthly updates, are always a big thing. I always like those. But yeah, tell me the sort of things that you want to watch. Whether it's the best websites to get alternative instructions from, or where do you buy things from? Where can I get this cheap? What sellers do you recommend from other places? Where do you get your deals from? You know, anything like that. You know, I'm more than happy to share that with you guys because it's all part of the community, and that's the way I see it. Is by watching this video, whether you like it or not, you're part of the Brick Chan community now. That's it. You're in. As soon as you subscribe, that's it. That's confirmed. You're a member for life. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. I'm going to try and do a live stream like this every week. So every Saturday at about the same time. I am thinking about moving it to a Sunday. Because again, YouTube is telling me that's where most people are watching. I know you guys are here now, but Sunday apparently has more viewers, and it'd be nice to have as many people as possible watching it so we can get a wider audience and grow the channel. So again, that's one of the other aims. Let's grow the channel. So to do that, I have to rely on you guys. So hit subscribe, share it, hit the like button, comment all over the place. Keep it nice. And that helps the channel grow so I can do more, and it gives me confidence that you guys actually like some of the things I'm putting out there. So have a think about that. Let me catch up on the comments, what's happening down here. Big Nate, thanks. Yeah, glad you like the tree. The hard thin brown shoes, a new pond. Yeah, okay, yeah. So yeah, it's always good. Like I say, watch back, get that technique down there. Sticks, clasps on top, put the leaves on, build it up, and like I say, what you can do is the more things you add onto it, the bigger your tree gets. This is kind of where the first one began, and if we put those side by side, you can see this one here is a lot bigger than the one we've just made, but it's exactly the same technique. It's just using those brown sticks and putting more stuff on it. This one's like twice the width on here, and this has got a lot more pieces in here. But I really like this, but it has started to lose its shape a little bit. But I'm going to keep it, but I will make another one that's about this size, just using more and more pieces, more and more techniques. But yeah, you can see where it goes. I'm probably more tempted to have a lot of smaller trees now because I've filled up all the big spaces, and I just want to add in little bits now. I've got I've got two of these, so they're kind of the main trees. Everything else is filler. If you have too many big trees, it's too much. So I might do one more and add it in somewhere. I don't know yet. But then what I will do is do lots of these little ones. Those ones there, these little sweet guys. To add into outside shops or in the park area, which I'm working on at the moment. I've got a space which I need to fill up with some sort of park, and I'm thinking maybe we have like a Chinese or Japanese garden in there, and we use some of those in it. So yeah, good. All right, I think we're there for today. Join me again next week. I will let you know the times. Hopefully it's going to be the same time again on a Saturday afternoon. If not, it'll be a Sunday afternoon. But again, as always, let me know what days and times suit you guys. I don't do these well, I do them for my own benefit because it's kind of a diary of what I've been up to, and if I forget how to do something, I can refer back to it. There will be another version of this video, so if you don't get time to watch the entire stream that we're doing now, I will do a cut down version to to make it a little bit easier and more accessible, because not everybody wants to watch an hour of me talking. Some people like a shorter version, so we'll do 2 versions, which gets to the point a lot quicker. So until next time, everybody take it easy. Again, spread the word, hit subscribe, hit like, tell everybody about the channel, get as many people involved as possible, and I will see everybody next time.